Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Beneath the Surface, an A&G Concrete Pools podcast. As always, I am your host, Luke Hannon, and today I have the privilege of being joined by Bob Hochstetter, Vice President of Sales and co-owner of Artistry and Mosaics. How are you doing today, Bob?
Very good. Thank you for having me. I'm happy to do this for you guys.
It's fantastic to have you here. I know this is a partnership that extends beyond both of us individually, but you yourself have been involved with the Artistry and Mosaics brand and now A&G for almost 2 decades. So quite a long time. I'm sure you have quite a few stories to share, but I want to go back to the very beginning. How did you find yourself in the swimming pool industry, in the tile space? Was it something you had always thought of yourself and was always the path, or something that was more naturally found?
It was, sort of accident, I suppose, to be honest. My brother and father were looking for a business to buy in Florida, and they stumbled upon Artistry and Mosaics, and we didn't have an idea that we wanted to be in the tile space for a swimming pool industry. We just found a business that had a very unique product, a quality product, but the owner, he was good at making things, but he wasn't very good at actually marketing, selling, growing the distribution channel, so they saw a lot of opportunity with it. So they purchased the business in 1999, and then a few years later, they decided to bring me on because I had a background in sales and marketing, also through a distribution channel, different products altogether, but through distribution as well. So they brought me into the fold, and it's been a lot of fun. The business was extremely small when we bought it, and we've taken it from kind of a smaller local regional player to a national player that sells tile all across the U.S. through a large network of distributors.
When you were originally being brought on board in the early 2000s, what were those conversations like? Did they have to sell you on the idea of working with tile every day?
No, not really. I saw it as a very good opportunity because they shared the vision with me, and immediately I latched onto it. I knew what the vision was, and I knew that I could help do it. So it was really a no-brainer. Plus, to work with your brother and father, how many people get that opportunity? So I jumped at it right away.
Do you feel as though those first years you can still kind of see the fruits of your labor now, or has the business just evolved so much at this point that it feels like another lifetime almost in those early years?
It does seem like a long time ago, but the juice is worth the squeeze. With anything in life, the more you put in, the more you get out. And we've worked very hard for a very long time to grow the brand, grow the business into what it is today, and we're very proud of it.
What is your first memory of interacting with A&G? Because I know both companies start in 1987. They have that period up. You get involved in the early 2000s. What was that first interaction like with the company? Yeah,
so it's actually one of the relationships I'm probably most proud of because, as you said, both businesses were started in 1987 in the same town, 5 minutes from each other, and they've been doing business ever since. Both companies were under different ownership, but quite frankly, the relationship has grown and blossomed under the new ownership. It's really been great. I'm a big fan of Travis and Gina Leonard, the owners of A&G, plus the entire team here. So it's just a great business. But to try to pinpoint the exact date that I walked in the doors of A&G, I don't remember exactly what day that was, but you were in a different building, different location, and still the same strong company that immediately kind of the values that A&G had were very similar to ours. So we hit it off right away. And once again, I think that, that Travis and Gene are just great people and a joy to do business with.
Well, and I know I can speak personally from the standpoint of when you and I had the chance to first meet at the Master Pools Guild and seeing sort of relationship you have with them and how quickly sort of it continues to blossom. As you mentioned, it is almost familial in its nature at this point because that relationship is so long-standing, because both the businesses have evolved in such a unique way. As you mentioned, at that time we were in a different building, a different part of the county, and now here we are expanding as a business, both physically and in terms of the work we do. And I know it's the same for you guys. How has it been growing alongside a local business like that and having someone who is both a partner but also a friend you can come to and ask real questions about and have an honest response and have that transparency that I think all great businesses need?
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun, number one. the growth that we've experienced, as you said, I mean, it's essentially sort of mimics probably A&G's to some degree. If you go back to, 1999 when we bought the business, and if you looked at Artistry and Mosaics and A&G concrete pools, they're just so different than where they are today. It's, geez, I don't have even put it into words, but both companies were so different, and they've come so far. And there's even a lot more to do for both of us. I know that A&G has aspirations, so do we, and there's a lot of gas left in the tank for both companies to grow, for sure.
Tell me about what those aspirations are for you guys right now. I mean, as you've alluded to, you grew up from a business that was really only local to one that is now national, even getting into the multinational space with, I know you do some work with some Canadian pool builders, and I'm sure that's only going to continue to expand. Do you see that as the next evolution of your business, is just continuing to get into a more global kind of market? Is there a product line you're excited to explore? What does that look like for you guys?
There's probably a number of different things. New products, for sure. We continue to try to evolve our product offering every year. For instance, this year we've got a whole bunch of new products. We've got a handful of mosaic products that we hand make right here in Florida down the road. We've got roughly 15, 16 new glass tiles, and then we've got a new boutique line of porcelain tile that's very different than anything else in the market. No one else has it. And we also came out with bar stool tops, which typically in the field, when the installers try to fabricate a bar stool top, it's very difficult to do. They're using angle grinders. The cut pieces can be a little sharp. The grout spaces can be a little wonky. And we said, you know what? We can take that process in-house and prefabricate these things into a single unit that is so easy to install. So new products for sure. And then also I think that there's a lot more room for growth within the pool industry for us. And then in addition to that too, we do have some floor and wall customers. And I think that we can continue to build on the floor and wall segment as well to grow the business there too. Because all of the products that we have in the swimming pool industry can be used in a kitchen, a backsplash, shower stall, whatever it is. So so we're beginning to push more in that market as well.
When you take a look at product development now as you expand into those additional markets beyond swimming pools, is there ever a conversation about, let's make something specific for a backsplash, something specific for a shower stall? Or is it, we want to create great tile regardless of its application. We want to make sure it works for everything regardless of what you want to put it on? So
we are geared towards pool primarily because that's the main world that we live in. However, when we do develop new products, we do think about, okay, where else could this be used? And so for instance, that boutique series that I mentioned to you, it's a beautiful porcelain tile that can be used in a pool or a kitchen, shower, backsplash. It goes either place seamlessly. And then a lot of the new glass tiles too, we tried to do the same thing where this one has crossover appeal. So when we go out into the floor and wall market, we can also share those products and they're going to be accepted too.
Do you ever find yourself inspired by something from maybe the opposite market and want to figure out what the development would be to apply that to, in the case of you see something from the floor and wall market and say, I think if we tweak that a little bit, it'd be great for swimming pools or vice versa? Is that part of your R&D?
100%. Yeah, actually, I've been doing this in the pool industry for quite a long time. And there's been this trend over the past 3 to 5 years where homeowners want to take the outside in. They want to take those cool and unique tile products that they find for their kitchens and bathrooms, and they want to take them outside. Because for the longest time in the pool industry, it's, sort of a lot of basic standard 6x6 stuff that doesn't get people very excited. So yes, we would use the floor and wall market sometimes for inspiration. We see products that we like. We hear people saying, hey, I want larger format, or I want more monochromatic colors. And we take that to the pool industry. And so far, those products have done very well.
When you say larger format, for those who aren't aware, what does that mean? And sort of what are the various options in terms of size available to someone, whether they're looking for a tile for their pool or for another application?
Yeah, so for us in the pool world, larger format is, 3x6, 3x4, 3x12, 6x6. Those are larger format for us. I know in the floor and wall world, they're talking 24x24s and 12x24s. But for the pool, Really not that size, especially in the glass world. You're somewhat limited on what size you can do. So in our glass line, we've got roughly 130 different glass tiles, and they range from 1x1s up to the largest size in glass is probably a 2x6 or 6x6. And then in that porcelain world, we got some 6x6 and 3x12s as well. So for us, that's large format.
Do those constraints of the glass tile that you're alluding to there, do those kind of spark a different kind of creativity for you? Is there something of, hey, we can only go to this kind of dimension, this kind of scale? How do we pack the most kind of unique feature sets into this kind of box that we're limited to?
I think we actually thrive there because we are an artistic company. It's in our name. And, we manufacture, we have an in-house design department. We think of ourselves as a creative company. So every year when it comes time to develop new products, we really try to push the envelope on what's possible. And so, we're experimenting with a lot of different shapes, sizes. We have a line called the Dimension Series, which, it's this unique geometric shape that has been performing very well for us just because it's unique and different and no one else has it. So, and right now we're in development for next year and we're experimenting with new shapes there too. I don't know that all will make the cut right now because we're kind of in development mode, but we're working down the path of some new shapes that are not currently in the pool industry.
Do you feel as though being a material manufacturer for swimming pools, you're almost the front line of defense in terms of what is likely going to become trending? What is kind of the marketplace asking for? Immediately, my thought is when you mention those unique shapes, as we get these more and more complex waterscapes, as people make larger and larger investments into their backyard, is this something where you really think the uniquity of a product, where something that says, this is something only I have, or it's only I have it when it's used like this, is that more and more appealing you're seeing in the marketplace?
Well, for someone in our position, you have to be creative and unique and different, but you also have to come out with products that, by and large, the masses want. Right? Like you could come out with some products that are super unique, but no one wants them. Maybe they're too unique, right? So you've got to find the line between different but still highly sellable. And so that's what we focus on: is that we want to be unique and different. We don't want to play this copycat game that others do. We want to try to create the trends in the industry instead of following the trends. But once again, there's a balance between unique and sellable. You've got to find that balance to make sure that your clients are looking at your wall and saying, I love this tile, I want to use this one.
And I think it's the same sort of approach for our design team as well. In theory, we have so many award-winning designers in-house, and they have the ability to design pretty much anything the imagination can dream up, but at the same time, making sure that it's something that's usable, that the form comes with some amount of function. I think that's something we share in those ways of excess for the sake of excess is never going to be something that someone wants. Maybe in one or two unique instances, but for the most part, communicating that value through a material, through a design, how it functions, how it appeals to someone's family, their lifestyle.
Yep.
I know personally when I look at your collection of tiles, there's a real kind of emotive sense from some of the series. When I think of something like the Moonscape series, the way that sunlight interacts with that, the considerations that you guys have put into how does this kind of create a sense of movement along a wall that is stagnant at the end of the day. So is that something where you guys are taking that approach and saying, I want to create this kind of element? Or is it you kind of happen upon those things in the research and development and say, this is a great direction, we should explore that further?
It's probably a number of different things. What I mean by that is that, certain parts of the country like certain styles. And then there's also certain customers that want more modern, clean. And then there's some that want free-form pools that look like a trop oasis with lots of iridescence and texture on their tiles, right? You guys use a lot of our Moonscapes because you're building very high-end, very elegant pools. And in those cases, it seems like your clients prefer the larger format 2x6 Moonscapes, which the colors are monochromatic. They're very beautiful, but the shimmer and iridescence is inside the tile. It's not on the surface of the tile like our other iridescent tiles. So you get the sparkle, you get the shimmer, but it's not too bold and in your face. So we try to find products that are going to appeal to a very wide range of clients that are building pools, from freeform that want a lot of bling, to maybe more modern and clean that want a little bit of sparkle, but maybe not so much in your face. So we try to have a very wide range of products going to appeal to a very wide range of clients.
Have you found that general shift towards a little bit of subtlety, but still having that unique character? Has that been more and more the way that the market has been facing? Or is it just so dynamic that it's hard to pinpoint to one item or the other?
It really is. There's two camps that I clearly see. I get asked all the time about trends, and there's really two, and it really kind of depends on the pool that's being built. So, for instance, if a pool is if it's rectangular in nature, they're typically going with our larger format, moonscapes or subways, something like that, right? But on a smaller pool or maybe a freeform pool where there's a lot of curvatures all over the place, they're using 1x1s and 1x2s because the larger format can't fit on the radiuses of the freeform pool. So there's really kind of two camps. It's, rectangular geometric pool tends to gravitate towards larger format. Freeform tends to gravitate towards the 1x1 and 1x2.
Do you think what you mentioned there about kind of the technical element of this on the application, where certain tiles can only do certain things, do you think that's something that maybe more clients should be thinking about as they make those material selections?
I would say that the pool probably dictates the material, and I'd imagine that your clients are going to talk to your designers and say, hey, I like this tile. And if there's a challenge with it, they probably would bring it up and say, hey, you've got some very tight radiuses. Maybe a 3x12 tile isn't the right choice here. Maybe you need to go with something smaller. So I think that your design team will probably help guide the homeowner on what the right selection is. But the good news is for our products, in many cases, we have a larger format with a smaller format. So if they like the look, perhaps they go with the smaller format instead of the larger format.
Now, we've had a lot of discussion about the glass tile side of things. However, it's in the name of your company, Artistry and Mosaics. That's really where you guys got your start, is in the mosaic space.
Yep.
How have you seen that side of the business grow, evolve, and where does it stand now in 2025?
It stands in a really great spot, and it continues to grow every year. And I think the reason for that is, well, there's a couple reasons. Number one, our designs continue to push the envelope on what's possible and realism. But we're also, we're out there selling and marketing these products more aggressively than ever too. So we're getting them out to every corner of the U.S., so to speak, where we're also coming out with new products that are going to have probably more wider appeal. But it's fun. The mosaics are great. Like, we started with that product in 1987, and it's kind of funny. Like, if you go back and look at some of the products we were creating back then, they look pretty rudimentary. And if you look at a turtle from 1999 to one now, I mean, it's night and day. The realism versus to kind of the cartoon nature is just night and day. So we have an in-house design department. Every year they're trying to freshen up designs or come out with new designs. And we share those with the market too. I mean, I've been over here before sharing new ideas with you guys, whether it's a glass tile or a porcelain tile or a mosaic. And so we have some relationships locally that we can go to and get feedback on new products to make sure that we're putting out home runs, right? I mean, if we just sit in our own office and we think it looks great and don't go outside our building to ask for input, we might, convince ourselves that something's great and it isn't. So we really like to go out into the marketplace with products and get feedback. And there's plenty of times where we go out, we think it's great, we go out and get feedback, we're like, okay, we need to make a few changes to this thing, here's what we heard. So that's really valuable to go out and do that with new products and kind of test the waters on them.
And I know it's been equally beneficial for us to kind of know what's on your mind, know what's on the horizon in terms of that, and think, how does that apply to our current designs? Would we want to change something in terms of our design language because we really love that tile, we really love that mosaic, and we want to figure out how to incorporate it? When you talk about having your own design department inside, is that for the expansion of the standard mosaics, like what you're talking about with the turtles, with the sailfish, the compass roses, the things that people might think of as the traditional elements? But I know you do custom items as well. So are they trying to push the envelope in just terms of what's physically possible to create so you can continue to broaden that scope?
They do a lot, and they're very talented designers for sure. So they do a lot. Number one, they create new mosaics every year, or enhance current mosaics, whether through a paint technique or a texture or some kind of pattern. So they're constantly elevating our standard mosaic line as well as doing customs. And we've done thousands upon thousands of customs over the years, from something that's a foot big up to 50 foot across, for commercial or residential space. I mean, really, I tell people, if you have an idea, bring it to us, because I'm pretty confident we can make anything in tile. We've just been doing it so long. We're very, very good at it. And I don't mean to kind of toot my own horn there, but that's our specialty, right?
I would agree with you. I think you guys are very, very good at it.
So the customs they also work on. And then also with our new tile products, they have a design eye. They're designers. And so they have very strong input on what they think will sell, what trending colors are, and shapes. And they're very good. So they do a lot. In addition to that, they also help with our marketing efforts. So it's a very busy department.
When you talk about creating a 50-foot mosaic, when that kind of order comes across, or you have somewhere you've been collaborating with a project and it's time to manufacture it, what is that process like? Because I think for most people, it's hard to wrap your head around it. It's easy to look at a 2x6 and say, oh, yeah, I've got an understanding. It's like my backsplash. It's like my shower. Most of us do not have 50-foot mosaics in our homes. So what's it like when you have to go and build that?
This was a commercial project in Tulsa, Oklahoma. It was the Osage tribe. This casino, they wanted the Osage, their logo, and their pool, and it's 50 foot across. So commercial project. It's a ton of work. It really is. I mean, from starting with, the artwork and the designs to creating a finished product, it takes a very long time to do it, and we've got very skilled people to do it. So a project like that, we may take a few months to do something that size, but the result is beautiful. I mean, they were so happy, and I think we're going to be doing more casinos for them as they expand.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
And then I believe you've also, more locally to Florida, you did a project that's pretty incredible with the Ringling Museum over in Sarasota.
Yeah, that was a very fun project. So, and believe it or not, that one came from a relationship I have at the Master Pool Guild.
Really?
The Ringling Museum was looking for someone to recreate a tile that was 120 years old. And so he shared our name with them. They reached out to us, and so we started talking. And really, when it comes to recreating a 120-year-old tile, we're about the only person who can probably do that. So we went back and forth, worked on the design, made molds, and long story short, we ended up doing the project, and it turned out just unbelievable. Like, if you looked at the 120-year-old tile compared to our tile, you wouldn't be able to tell the difference. And they were so happy and so excited with the finished product that I'm sure that, through the architect firm, there'll be more work coming our way, because there's very few people who can do what we do, especially in that historical kind of aspect to recreating something that's very old.
What is that process like? Because I imagine when you're looking at something that was created more than a century ago, obviously the techniques were different. Are you guys kind of replicating an older style of creating that? Or are you saying we can take this shape and these colorings and this kind of alignment and bring it into the future so we can manufacture it 10 times, 20 times, 100 times faster?
Well, I mean, it's still a handmade process for us. When we got the tile, they wanted it to be an exact replica. So essentially, that means making it by hand. And so we set out to do that, and we went through a lot of different molds and clay formulas to come up with the right ratio of clay, color, mold, lots of iterations. And finally, we kept sharing progress with them when we came to the final one. They said, we love it. It's a home run. Let's go with this one. So then we went into production, and I think that job probably took us, it might have been 6 months to complete that project from start to finish, once they agreed on this is the tile. But once again, it was a handmade project. It was a lot of tile, and it's beautiful. So we're very proud of that one for sure.
I think it's so incredible. I mean, those are unique stories. When you're talking about something like the work you did for Casino or something like Ringling there, where that's not perhaps an everyday kind of thing.
No.
When you're talking about project timelines that
Right.
are in the months. But I think that attention to detail that you guys have, and that care and that willingness to say, all right, this isn't quite the right version. Let's go back. Let's recreate the formula. Let's recreate the mold and see what ultimately gets us there. Those are the same considerations that you guys are making in the larger product line, in the things that are more accessible, that are on now hundreds and hundreds and even thousands of pools at this point. Has there ever been a time where you just stepped back and kind of marveled at what that growth has looked like and how the process has evolved and where you started and where you are now?
Not really. I feel like I don't know. I feel like I'm still in it, right? Like every day is a new challenge and something new to do. So we're just pushing ahead and trying to be the best company we can and looking for ways to grow and to help our partners, provide them with quality, durable products that are beautiful for their clients.
So we've mentioned now the Master Pools Guild a few times, more commonly known as the MPG, and those relationships allowing you to have new and specific projects like the Ringling Museum. When did you first become a part of the guild, and then what has that process been like meeting guild members? Because it is a multinational organization, there's so many different perspectives. I know you've spoken earlier about kind of taking trends from different parts of the country and addressing products that are maybe great for the West Coast or great for Canada or great for Florida.
Yeah.
How has that group been in shaping not only the trends, but who you are as a business in the larger industry?
So the Master Pool Guild is great, and we've probably been a member of the guild for close to 20 years. But to be quite honest, in the early days, I didn't do enough with it. I guess just maybe too busy, maybe didn't quite see the value in it. But about 10 years ago, I started going to all of the conferences, and I really regretted not going to them the previous 10 years because it's a great organization with roughly 100 of the best pool builders in the country, and they're all down-to-earth people that treat the vendors like members as well. The networking is great, and you've just got some of the greatest builders that are part of the top 50 builders in the country that are willing to come by my tabletop on tabletop day and say, hey, we love this product, or I wish you had this. I mean, that's the big one, right? If someone says, I wish you had this, especially if I hear it a few times, it's like, oh, okay, there's something to this one. So you're dealing with the cream of the crop, and their words carry weight. So when they're sharing feedback with me, I really take it to heart, and we will use their ideas and feedback to help generate new products or tweak products that we're working on.
Can you think of a certain product that's out now that's a fruit of one of those conversations where you're having multiple people say, oh, it'd be so amazing? Maybe something like the bar stool is an example, because I know that is, as you kind of alluded to, it's kind of a pain point. They're not always the easiest to apply. There's not the uniformity that you would hope from something that in theory should be replicatable. Is that an idea birthed from the MPG meetings?
Yeah, so the idea didn't come from there, but we took a prototype there. And I can always tell when something's going to be hit because all of the members come by the booth and they talk with you. And I had that bar stool sitting on top, and everybody's like, oh my gosh, what is that? And like smiles like, where's this been all my life, right? Like it's a pain in the butt to fabricate bar stool tops on site. And for these guys to be able to just order one, it shows up in a few days, and to install it in minutes versus hours, it's a huge time saver. In addition to that, the 8 glass colors that we have a matching field tile. So your water line, your spa, your bar stools can all match. We also decided to come out with 3 granite ones in case someone doesn't want glass. We've got granite ones they can try to do their best to match up with their porcelain on their project too. And then our boutique series was another one I took to the Master Pool Guild prior to launch of the product, and the oohs and ahs, and I love it. It's unique. It's different. I just knew that, okay, this one's going to be a home run too, because once again, you're talking to 100 of the best builders in the country from all over the country, and they were all saying the same thing. So we knew we had something.
And that's got to be a great feeling to have done all the work on the back end and say, all right, we think this is a great idea, but let's go see and put it in front of an audience, like you mentioned, a very down-to-earth group who I think for the most part are going to shoot you straight and going to say, hey, it's great, we love it, or what if it was this, or what if it had this kind of alteration? So to be able to go there and get kind of complete unanimous approval, I'm sure it was an awesome feeling.
Yeah, it's a great organization. It really is.
Well, Bob, it's been great to have you. I appreciate you coming by and sharing so much about your business. I know you're one of the longest standing partners of A&G, and I'm sure that is a relationship that will continue on for many, many years to come. We're so excited by your growth and the work that you're doing, and on behalf of the entire team, I can't wait to see what the future holds for us. So thank you again for coming by, and hopefully we have the chance to talk again in the future soon.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining me for my conversation with Bob. It's fantastic to have you here along with us, and we hope you'll join us for more future episodes down the line. If you'd like to watch any of our backlog, any previous episodes, you can find those on YouTube, Spotify, and wherever you get your podcasts. And we'll see you next time.